If each of you could take a moment to say your name and what it is you do on Warframe, that would be awesome, so everyone can get a little more familiar with who they're looking at.
So me?
We'll start to my left.
Hi guys, I'm Jeff Crooks.
Yay, Jeff!
I'm the art director after Mike Brennan, who's here somewhere, made me. There he is,
Oh,
back
there he's
there.
waving, hey, Mickey!
So he's here to watch and judge us all. So,
Yes.
So hi everyone, thanks for coming out.
And next, which is a very special guest.
Hi everyone, I'm Keith Thompson. I'm a concept artist. I was involved early on at the beginning of Warframe, and I get lassoed back in every now and then along the way.
Yes!
Hello, my name is Raymond de la Cruz. I'm, I guess, current lead character artist on Warframe.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour. My name is Lucas Hug. I'm assistant art director to Jeff, but I work with the weapon team too a lot.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt Tremblay. I am one of the art directors at DE, and I'm currently focusing on environments, working with Jeff and the rest of the team to kind of show you the cool stuff.
Awesome. So each of these wonderful artists has provided me with some material, and we're going to get some of your questions in at the end. So there should be a floor mic, so near the end of the presentation, you guys can line up. I'm going to go in order of who provided me slides. It was all Lucas.
Lucas.
Lucas is the panel director. He's been promoted today on my behalf. No, I'm just joking. But we're going to get started because Lucas, as part of the weapons team, as you said, you have a team you work with. It's not just you.
No, it's not just me.
In fact, it's all these people.
Yes. So this is the team that you can see that since last year we had lots of addition, and this is just like the weapon team. So we do like accessory and weapons. So this shows that DE is really investing lots of time and money to please you guys.
Would you like to go to the next slide?
Yes?
So we're going to dive through what the weapons and accessories team have been doing on Warframe, and we'll take a look.
So this one is part of like a GRINEER mega bundle that we are creating. The 3D artist is Nikita Legeshakov, and the concept artist is Sean Bigham. So up there, it's not very defined what it is. I think it's a 4-barrel rifle, but it can change along the way.
Can it?
Because it's still in production. And down there you have like a Uzi, I think, a GRINEER Uzi.
So we have a shotgun and an Uzi, and it's GRINEER.
Rifle.
A rifle?
Yeah, 4-barrel rifle, I think.
Is the GRINEER your favorite to design
Yes.
for? Yes? What about the rest of you? Oh. Is GRINEER high up on your guys' list?
It's always fun.
Oh.
Sorry? Even with the chip, like, it's easier, it seems, so it's always fun.
You guys just heard it here. The GRINEER are easy. Spread the word. There are children watching. Never mind. All right. What else do we have here?
So this is part of a CORPUS mega bundle that we are developing, like the GRINEER ones. The 3D artist is Enrico Santi, and the concept artist is Sean Bigham. So up left, you have a sniper pistol, because this is something, right? Yep. And the big thing there, it's a CORPUS shotgun. So this is gonna happen.
We showed that on a stream a while ago, and people have been very eager for an update.
It's still in progress. I don't even think it hasn't been handed off to rigging yet, has it?
Not to rigging, but when I saw some FX that Joe plug in there, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, you're like, oh, it's a shotgun, but it's like, it's a science fiction shotgun. It's very weird. Yeah. I don't know if I can talk about it, but
you can talk about it, but it is functional in game right now. It's just we haven't got it ready for animation yet. So.
Yeah, all of those things are early like development stage. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's coming. It's definitely coming.
Yeah. So when it comes to CORPUS, we just saw GRINEER, and now we're with CORPUS. Who does the most work on CORPUS here, or is it pretty balanced? Because the art style is super different.
I don't know.
I think it's pretty balanced. Like,
I'm not sure I've gotten to touch on them
Yeah, I
much.
don't think-
Oh, they're spaceships. So like they're big scale stuff, but not the little guys.
that's right. Keith designed the original, the big ships that you see on the fly-ins towards, like, on mission loads. Yep.
And maybe we'll see a sneak peek of some other things in that
We sure
regard
will.
today. But
The CORPUS set is one of our, the weapons guys, our character team, they do the most. We've really not done a whole lot in terms of environments lately. We've done a whole lot of GRINEER, a lot of Orican, a lot of other cool stuff, but they've definitely been forgotten a little bit. We're talking about doing something different with that next year, or in the next
do you have
year.
any sneak peek of what you might think you want to do with Corpus environments, or?
We have something that has been conceptualized, some time ago. That's kind of been on the back burner. What we are doing, if anyone has paid attention the last little while with the Forest remaster, like we went through and relit and restaged that. Corpus is on that list. Some of the earlier Corpus stuff is definitely on that list. So we're in the process of doing that right now, hoping to again release it as soon as possible. But it's a huge endeavor because it's all departments. Touching, old and new content, so it takes a while to do.
And speaking of old content, many years ago we introduced a VANDAL weapon, and then Fashion Frame became a thing. And then people wanted to color their Vandals. And then what happened, Lucas?
Yeah, I know that this is right. Next one, I guess.
Wait, there's more?
I don't know. Yeah, try.
What else could there be? This is a huge undertaking for you if you want to talk a little bit about it.
This is like Rebecca coming to me and being like, "This is very important." I'm like, "I have 100 things to do," and she was like, "This is very important." So I was like, "Okay, I need to work here still, right?" So we did it, and because in a way I think I could understand why it's very important for everybody. So, well, we kind of did it for TennoCon, and now it's something, right?
Yes, so this is going to be like the one huge headline. It's like you see all this new content, but it's like tintable wraiths and vandals done. That's Fashion Frame is very important. So
Yes.
I don't know, you see our players and the customizations they bring to the game, and it makes it look.
It's amazing. It's really amazing.
And those colors, I choose them myself, and you can see that it's just beautiful, right?
Yes, yeah. You really are an artist, Beautiful palette. But you have another surprise for us here.
Wait a minute.
Ooh.
Oh. Can we say something about that already? Okay, yeah. So this is the bundle that will come with the new Warframe.
Ooh.
The next one.
So,
I
I think I don't know if it's the next panel, but we'll show. But Keith actually did the next Warframe design. I think we showed it on a dev stream.
We did.
And then so this is the weapon bundle to go along with it.
Yes. So Kaz did the concept and the 3D model, so it's from beginning to end. She did like a very good job. So there we have like a scarf that is more like a backpack. We have kunais, we have like a two-handed hammer and a shotgun.
I like the idea of a glass hammer.
Interesting,
It's
yeah.
pretty good.
I think glass is very sturdy in the future. They've
Absolutely.
worked out all the kinks with it, and we're going to get to a little bit more about what that could mean when we get to the character section, and Ray and Keith can talk a little bit about that. But last TennoCon in the art panel, there was some gold present, and when we talk gold, we talk primes. What's this?
Yes. Okay, so this is wrong.
Is it out of order?
No, it's worth like armor prime, but this is not an armor.
You gave me that.
So, yeah, this is a Sugatra that Kaz did, and the concept come from Joseph Gloria. So it's Sugatra. Yeah.
But that's the armor.
Yes, this is it. So this was made by Mike Latham and concepted by Sean Bigham. Very beautiful.
Our armor sets, people really love them. Do you think you guys are going to do some quirky new stuff with them in the future? This is just my own personal question that I wanted to get on the panel.
We have some concepts, like lots of concepts from Kaz that just need to be done. It's just like something very difficult to do because they have to align on the hundreds of Warframes that we have, and each Warframe, thanks to Minky, are very different. So one, the shoulder is there, the other one, the shoulder is there. So we have to manually place them. It's like it's 3, sometimes like 4 models with like different texture. It takes a long time, but if you guys want some more, we can definitely go in there and make more, right?
How many people here use armor every time they fashion frame? I think
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Our next slide continues the gold. What's this?
So this one was made by me and concepted by Sean.
Yeah.
That's interesting choice for the next Prime stuff, wouldn't you say?
Sorry?
It's a very interesting choice for the next
Yes.
Prime stuff. So,
Oh.
Does it give a little
Yeah.
insight to who's next, I guess? Is
I
that
don't
the...
know. But there's definitely that.
So this one was made by Andrew Yu and concepted by Sean.
So as you know, this is the weapons, so we're going to keep going with weapons until maybe we get to the characters
Uh-oh.
section. So our next weapon to show is something that Lucas was super involved in when we did our last player-created melee weapon contest.
So this is very important for us because the community is kind of everything. So I really wanted to show this. I love the design, I love the idea, I love the drawings of the FX and stuff. It's still, I think you can play it here today.
You can play it today on the PC station if you want to get your hands on this. It's on the
So-
dev build.
This is the concept artist, and the winner of the contest was Joe Bear Thompson. And he is here?
He's here, so he's helping out with the show, but he's
Oh,
here.
that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the 3D artist was Kaz Adam, but
Yeah. Lucas was
it's-
so excited about this concept when he did it.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, he's so excited to make it.
And there was like a huge problem with those contests. Is like there was like 10, 15, 20, like even if it's not beautiful concept, it's amazing ideas that I feel we can't use and it's blocked, but I want to use them all. It's
No one's
very
going to stop you.
frustrating.
I think everyone would actually want you to, if I had to guess, but yeah.
Yeah.
And now we have a bit of a mystery note here now. This one is pretty peculiar.
So this, I can't talk about it, but I was the person involved in the concept and the 3D part of making those things that I will not name.
Well, I'm gonna say a little bit about it. But Lucas deserves a lot of credit for this. This was a system he really advocated for and kind of spearheaded and designed. But just to give a bit of insight to what we'll show later on today at the end of the show, this is a modular weapon system. So that's all I can say right now.
All right. Quickly, hop in this TENNO ship and get out of here. That's probably the funniest I'll ever be.
Just to give a bit of a bit of insight into this, and I'll let Keith take over. There's a new game prototype that we were really hoping to show today. We just couldn't get it to come together. But Steve has been really working on he really wanted to get a player ship working that is a team-based ship. So we actually have a functional prototype. It just didn't look good enough to show you guys. But this is a shared ship where your squad gets on, you have to defend it. You can jump out of it in Arcwing and fight space enemies. You come back on. You'll see turrets around that each character or each player can man. And the idea that we gave Keith to kind of explore here is the solar rails don't work anymore that we used the
Dark Sector solar.
the dark sector solar rails that people use to travel around our solar system. So we kind of asked Keith to think about a ship that can kind of generate its own solar rail and allows you to fly around the solar system. And then Keith gave us this beautiful design.
Yeah, so it was those factors that went into it, and so you'll see like a repeat of sort of a motif of 4. So the 4 hard points, you can run around, handle things in different ways, and in a way keep an eye on your teammates too. So you got to try and sync up, and it's a bigger scale too for what you're used to seeing the TENNO fly around in as well.
So it has 2 forms. So the second form is its defensive state. So how does that factor into the gameplay, or your concept at least for the
Well,
gameplay?
gameplay-wise, the cool thing with the ship is that you can get raided on it as well. So enemies can board your ship So you'll need to kind of stop your flight and go into a defensive posture, which is, again, something Keith kind of nailed here.
The previous form had this sort of accelerator running through it, and that's where it generates an artificial rail so that it can actually travel using the same principles as the previous rail system, but on sort of a scaled version. And then, yeah, this is when things get heavy.
Yeah, it's a really cool prototype. We're really bummed that we couldn't show it, but I don't know, it's a really cool feature that we're
Well,
adding
that's
in,
why you guys watch our dev streams, because eventually we sit down and show you guys stuff. So tune in 2 weeks from now, maybe 3, I don't know.
Yeah, ish.
Yeah, we'll see if we survive the day, which we will, because it's going to be awesome. But the next picture is Keith. You're going to have to explain this, maybe with Matt and Jeff, because what are we looking at here?
Well, okay. I guess.
Jeff.
All right. So the cool thing with working with Keith is, a lot of times we have to stay 2 steps ahead of, kind of where the game is going. And, me, Steve, and Matt talk about kind of like the high-level ideas and then kind of talk them out and then, send them off to concept to help flesh out the idea. And we haven't been to a sentient environment yet in the game. So we're planning on that. So this is Sentient Outpost, which the concept says. So we kind of gave Keith, we'll show a bit of a progress here, but we kind of gave Keith, Matt had been doing some experiments where a cathedral quality was starting to feel kind of nice. So we really gave Keith a really broad brush and just said, Sentient Outpost, cathedral, can you make something? And,
That's how games are made.
yeah, that's how games are made. And yeah, he kind of took it from there.
So I have a few progress shots, I think.
Yeah,
so
but I don't know if you want to say anything about this specific
Yeah,
one.
I mean,
or-
the thing is, there was a lot going into this. We were exploring it, feeling out how they sort of interrelate at different scales. So this is sort of at the biggest scale, and you'll see some other shots which connect with this if you zoomed in really, really, close to a section and imagined it breaking off.
Oh, so, is that what this is?
And that's what that is.
Got
So
it.
you sort of see that smooth edging. You see them joining up, and then you get this idea of the interior, the way the sentients build on the interior is different from the way they sheath it. And then they've added things to this section. So they're kind of repurposing stuff depending on what's happened.
So from Matt's point of view, we've never gone to a sentient environment, and I know that's, when you get to design for a new faction entirely from the environment point of view, what kind of excitement or fear do you get, especially at this concept?
You know what? This has been such a challenge figuring out what to do with this race of enemies. It's, it's so different. Minky set the bar with those character designs so high that to really try to imagine what their space is has been a huge challenge. So, we've tried experiments, we've done a whole bunch of conceptual stuff that was just falling flat. It just was not working. We tried a bunch of stuff in 3D. We've got some really amazing stuff that'll probably never see the light of day for various reasons. But at this point, as Jeff was saying, we just kind of put our heads together and said, all right, Keith, here you go.
Make it work, please.
Merry Christmas.
And then we have this as well.
So the last one, I think, was feeling a bit too satellite inspired for us, and we had this idea that we forgot to convey to Keith. Was that the first sentient that went beyond the solar rails, that went further than the humans could, was a giant sentient, and that trip essentially destroyed it. And so the sentient outpost that you'll get to is kind of it's kind of like a piece of that first sentient. So we kind of gave them the idea to explore that it was a component to a larger piece, and to kind of bring in more of the kind of shape language, like that the surface structure that was kind of on the soldiers, to kind of relate it to a big entity kind of thing. And then, yeah.
I don't know if you want to comment on this one, but I know there's another one lined
Well,
up.
I think,
Yeah, this is the one where I was sort of pushing it in this very sinister angle with this sort of like dark cathedral motif going on. And then you see that kind of donut ring, and it was imagining it would spin and sort of like a pulsar and be this weird phenomenon that you'd come across. And it would collect things with those stringing like parts
Well,
on
it's
the
like one of those shrimp that like.
well, that's
yeah.
actually, yeah. And then that kind of led us to, we really like the idea of the like kind of like a baleen whale, like a whale that takes krill in through its stringy teeth. So the same idea, the scope of this is massive. It's going to be giant. And then the idea is that because it's a severed piece of a giant sentient, it wants to rebuild the same way when you cut a worm in half. It kind of grows itself.
Jeff confirmed worm murderer.
Yeah. Dark childhood. But when you pull in the so the idea is that it kind of pulls in the asteroids through its baleen, and we asked Keith to explore the idea of this outpost that would essentially also, when you look at it, can get a sense of its reconstruction process, which led us to the next one.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to even talk on this.
So in essence, the outpost is sort of the central thing. That's the fragment of the entity, which is now its own entity, and it's sucking things in.
Through the mouth, I guess.
Through the front, yeah, through, in essence, the mouth, and processing it through these big feed tubes up to these kind of these struts and arrays that it's growing.
We have a closer look at the mouth too, if you want to.
Yeah.
So here you sort of see the main ship proper, and you can see the roots through which it's in essence rebuilding its new self now.
I think the one thing that's important to kind of mention here is the scale of this. And you said just a second ago it's really big, but that opening at the front is so large that you could fly some of our larger, like you fly your set in there, no problem, and it'd just be, you know, a minuscule little speck.
Yeah.
So the scale that we're talking is quite a bit different than what we have kind of done in a level standpoint so far. So
Yeah.
it's going to be exciting and challenging.
And pretty big undertaking,
Yeah.
for sure.
So maybe
Yeah.
we'll take it back to your favorite faction, the GRINEER, and take it smaller because this is, you know, huge.
This is
but,
pretty big, yep.
Characters. So, you know, I don't. It's your turn. Well, both your turns because side by side. What's this?
Yeah, so this is one of the GRINEER ghouls that I think is being.
No, it's you might have the only sneak peek of it in your comic.
Yeah, it's in the comic, and this was done by Keith Thompson, the concept, and modeled by Dennis Cossin. He's actually my overall lead character. I'm just the one in Warframe, so.
So what was the direction for this type of enemy? Like, if we can talk about that.
Absolutely,
'Cause
yeah.
this is like, you've never seen a GRINEER like this.
Steve kind of made a list of new enemy types he wanted to get into the game this year, and he had this idea of the ghouls that are kind of buried in those. I think we showed on a dev stream those. Keith actually the diapause bag that Keith designed. They're essentially in a womb under the ground, and they kind of burst out from that, and then so we kind of gave Keith a list of enemy type, and then he kind of built on that design description.
These are sort of like a tier down from what we're used to with the GRINEER. You tend to think of the GRINEER as a bit of a dirty kind of kludged hodgepodge of things, and these guys are sort of like, you haven't seen the bottom yet that they
It gets
that they
worse
churn
than
out.
clothes.
Yeah.
You can get soil wounds. I don't even. Well,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this guy essentially is a charger and will latch onto you and kind of like blow up. A bit of Serious Sam vibe.
I think it just runs towards the Warframes, right?
Yeah, I think we will do some. We're kind of experiment with some attack animations with it as well.
So it's a suicide enemy, I guess.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit
dear.
of that kind of design.
gross. And then who's this? If that's the.
Well, as it says, it's the GRINEER Sawman, and another concept by Keith, and modeled again by Dennis Cossin. He's been our go-to guy as far as the GRINEER enemies right now.
So the last time we saw a sawman in Warframe was in 2012 when we just gave them a saw blade and sound effects.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're back with a vengeance after 4 years of disappearing.
Yeah, this is they have the weapon started on this too, hasn't it?
The weapon is done, and
What-
it's huge, and it's ugly, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Made by Nikita, yeah.
Are we going to be able to use
Oh
it?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I didn't have time to take screenshot and stuff. We still
But like,
have
are players going to be able to use the weapon?
I knew you were
This
going to
is
ask that
like-
question.
This is like very special because this weapon handling are very different. So we will need like lots of animation stuff.
Right off the bat, no, they're not. But I think we're
That
going to
will
have to let the
be-
player use it because it's pretty amazing. And it's so hard to say. It's yeah. So the reason why we design weapons to get them in, we share grips per weapon category. And this is a new weapon grip type, which means for the player, we just have to make a pretty broad animation set to get it in. So it's not something we can get to them quickly.
So is this Keith, by drawing it that way, you have to do a whole new grip set?
This is all Keith's fault, basically.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm always making problems. I make as many problems as I
Just
solve.
change the grip on the concept and we'll use it right away.
I'm trying to think of I don't know if this would be what do you think this would be? Would it be a projectile weapon or a melee? Like I
That's
think.
probably their version. Well, they already have the miter, so
Yeah, I
if
think
it was a melee, that'd be awesome.
So if it's a melee weapon, I was thinking it would be a melee weapon.
But what do you
That'd
guys
be a good
want? Melee or project? Like rifle slot or melee?
Yeah. Ray's son wants melee too, so
Melee.
we can get that to you quicker then. Yeah.
Both. Oh, there we
We have
go.
to do both.
I'll-
Yeah. All right. It might take a little while, but we'll get it out.
So that's the enemies. But what about warframes?
Excuse the ghetto screenshot.
This is
Oh.
you sent it to me.
Yeah, I know. I sent it to you this morning.
Yep. 6 a.m. folks.
Yeah, I was working late.
He's sleepy.
I think we showed, this is a Keith concept that we showed on DevStream a little while ago, that he actually designed this Warframe just kind of on his own, and Scott had somewhere in the, I don't know what Scott's idea is for this, but he's like, I want to do a glass Warframe. I'm like, okay. And then Keith had a design that I asked him, I kind of sent back to him, like, I think this one would fit that kind of aesthetic, and he did a pass on it, and it kind of turned into this.
Yeah. So the theme of the next Warframe is glass, and I think we'll talk about it a bit more tonight on TENNO Live, but
Yep.
This is your sneak peek at the glass Warframe.
Yeah, there's still some polish left on this. Like, I just wanted to get it in
Yes,
so that people can see it.
of course.
It's actually working in game. Like, you can run around with it, but I don't know if we have it in the build right now. So,
Not right now. We're working on our,
yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, so we'll stay tuned, of course. You guys now, you know, you're the first to know, and we'll continue to showcase her later in
Yeah.
the dev streams. But I sense gold in my peripheral.
Oh, is that? Oh, I don't know. Oh, you just went to it.
So, this is quite a departure from the default Hydroid. Yeah, and again, I was working on it late this morning.
I think you sent me this one 1 minute after the other one. So
Yes.
it was like, doo, doo.
Yeah, so we actually had another concept,
Yep.
but I think Jeff or somebody wasn't feeling
Throw me under the
it.
bus.
So I guess I just took it, and I didn't really draw up like a concept. I did do a paint over,
Yep.
and just went from there, and that's how I tend to design anyway. So
Yep.
So Hydroid was, you know, he came, I think, at update 13, and, you know, we were going to do water, and we were going to do it the Warframe way. And I don't know, I know you did the original concept for Hydroid. Did you know he was going to be like a water pirate frame when you were doing that, or?
The water part, not the pirate part. That was a new thing.
Gotcha. So how do you prime a pirate in the future? And the answer is?
And the answer is here. Here you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think we have one more image. So if anyone wants to start with questions, you can start lining up, and we'll get through as many as we can, of course. So if you have art-specific questions for anyone, now would be the time to start lining up. But we have one more concept art that...
Oh, yeah. So again, this is kind of staying 2 steps ahead of kind of some high-level ideas. So if anyone's played Second Dream, we were introduced.
Wait, who's played Second Dream? Okay.
Nice.
Who has watched any Prime trailers?
So you might be familiar with Ballas, the Orokin who was kind of the designer of the Warframes. For some reasons, we kind of want to bring him into the lore for a bit more into the game. So we had to explore kind of the Orokin style and kind of how they are as characters and how they would look, the aesthetic of them. And we thought we would use Ballas as kind of the key to focus on. So again, we kicked it to Keith. We gave him kind of a high-level breakdown of who our Orokin were and kind of introduced him to Ballas. And this is the first look of an Orokin, specifically Ballas.
Oh my God. Yeah. Horrifyingly awesome.
It is very cool. It's very cool.
If you don't know where the microphone is, it's in that line right there. But are you guys lined up for Q&A, just so I know? Yeah, that's where the microphone is for Q&A, so I just want to make sure you guys know where it is. But yeah, ballast, probably the most insane concept I've ever seen in Warframe history.
And and honestly, Keith can probably talk a lot about this because he kind of the first concept he did kind of knocked all our socks off a bit with it, and he just kind of kept developing it. He has all these really great ideas. There's all these really awesome details on there that maybe you can expand on a bit.
Yeah, it felt kind of almost like archaeology, where I was digging him out of the Orokin architecture and remnants that we were sort of so used to for so long. And there was this mysterious presence behind everything. So in a way, it kind of just flowed out. As long as you felt like you had a feel for it, he sort of created himself. And in a way, he was going to I was just exploring what they would have looked like initially to see what we wanted to home in on. And I was so happy with kind of the character because I was listening to the voice so much to kind of key into it, and it just felt like it matched. And so it kind of went, well, then this is Ballas. So there's definitely a lot going on. He's got, there's sort of this aristocratic air to them, almost like a deity as well. Very sort of vain, but at the same time potentially justified in their vanity in all these different ways. Sort of dangerous in how potentially impressive they are. And yeah, so that's sort of, that was a really fun process. And what's nice about when it feels like you hit it is you can keep working on it and making yourself hopefully happier with it as you go on.
He did all these really great details, like the ceremonial weapons that he has on the side of him there. Just these really nice touches, I think, that we can even build on and give us lots of potential for extra stuff in the game.
And now we know why infested ancients have their arms the way they do.
Just totally as planned.
Yes, exactly. It's always as planned. So that is awesome. So if you guys want to say anything else you want to say before we get to Q&A, are you ready? You nervous? Questions are coming in. You never know what's going to happen.
It was actually fun, like every day going into Jeff's office and looking at the dailies from Keith Thompson.
Yeah, I've seen that folder and it changed me.
Yeah.
It's awesome, in a good way, I'm better for it. So we'll get our first question. If you could just say your name, your question, and we'll see what we can do.
I'm Zephyr. I'm asking for a friend. Are we going to have any more scarf-type Cyandanas, such as the Asa or the Phased Asa, stuff like that?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Those are personally my favorite kind of Cyandanas as well, so yeah, absolutely.
The scarf kind of Cyandanas.
Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
I go by Shake and Bake, and this question might be a little bit more Tenno Live centric, but I'm asking just because Ray's up there. So during Primetime 150, he was modeling a demon Warframe concept, and would you be able to provide any insight on whether that Warframe is moving along to maybe be presented in the game?
Well, they haven't gone back to me and said that there's plans.
And that was a fan concept we did.
Yeah.
And we just did it for fun.
It was just for fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's up to Jeff. So Jeff, fan concept frames.
Jeff, please.
I'm definitely open to fan concept frames. As we've seen how well they've done with the weapon design. So, and there seems to be a lot of people love that demon design. So, we'll see if Ray comes to me hat in hand again.
The only challenge is getting the proportions right, because she tends to have like long limbs, right? So.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So with the Hydroid Prime coming, can we expect a rework with him? I know that's not an art.
Dear
question,
artists.
Scott will say.
Scott would say, "We'll take a look."
We'll take a look. Okay.
I'll say yes though. I'll commit
The
Scott.
answer is yes.
Yeah.
I have a second one.
Scott totally said he was going to do that.
Yeah, he did say. To be fair, he did say yes. So I'm just going to let it out so I can actually see.
Could we expect those weapons, the ceremonial weapons that are up there right now, in the future, or are they just purely decoration?
I would say you could always expect it.
Well, I think the one interesting thing about primes is I can name them. There's prime weapons without a vanilla base. So some weapons are only in their
I think
prime
were you
form.
specifically referencing this?
That exact one.
This one
yeah.
here?
Yeah. So
Yes,
could that
but-
be a future one?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's a potential to go back to it. And actually, I think we showed it at a previous dev stream, but Keith, when he did the sword, we asked them to kind of go with the aristocratic angle of them. We kind of said maybe like going down the fan angle, and we showed the bladed fan. That came out of the process of the ballast design as well. So I would say all these, like, we are going to definitely get to the fan one, and this design's so beautiful, I definitely can see us using it as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Hello.
Hi, I'm Chris. I had a question about the TENNO ship that you showed a little while ago.
Yes.
So could we ever expect to see that TENNO ship not used only for a mission, like defense missions and everything, but also sort of a hub, kind of like how the Lisette is used now, but so you can kind of gear up together with your squad and everybody?
I think, I don't want to commit too much to it, but that is the idea where you squad up on the ship and you go out as a squad on it. So I could see it kind of having that kind of functionality as well, absolutely.
I believe it's at the clan level.
Yes, that's
yeah,
right.
So
that's
it's
right.
sort
That's
of,
right.
when he was saying, you know, this is your own solar rail, if you guys have been around for years, maybe some of you remember the Dark Sector conflict. So this, as we sort of touched on, was always a clan thing when you were building your solar rail. So this is sort of the next step for that, or the new step, I should say. So yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I go by King Leaf. I had a question more about more of curiosity than anything else, but I was wondering what you guys enjoyed more in terms of designing concepts for enemies or frames, weapons, environments. I was wondering what you guys enjoyed designing more.
Why don't you guys all talk about your favorite stuff to work on then? Wow. Favorite, best.
I like to work on everything. It's because one day I work on a melee weapon, a sword. I love sword, but then if you do sword all the time, it gets boring. So it's more like the variety of it, like something new. And one day it's Corpus Day, and the other it's like GRINEER Day, and so this is what I like.
Yeah, it's sort of like a different cuisine. It's like, what's my taste like for today? And you go for that, and hopefully it works out well. The only thing that's tricky is when it's with big scenes with lots of people in it, and you start to pile stuff in. You're like, when am I ever going to finish that? That's kind of the only time that it's sort of.
Don't worry, we're never going to finish Warframe. Warframe's forever, so you're good. Anyone else? Favorites?
Favorites. You know what? We do so much GRINEER. I think we were talking about it earlier. How it's easy. You know, the GRINEER is super fun. The Corpus is kind of we've not avoided, but just not done anything with it. But they're all really fun. I mean, everything that we've been doing for the past 4 years has been super fun to work on. It's becoming more challenging to do interesting and cool and new stuff, which is great, but it makes for gray hair and late nights sometimes, but it's super fun.
With Matt, I feel particularly bad because everything he has been pouring himself into, he can't talk about until the end of the night. So he's sitting here in this situation, and you guys are going to want to remember his name tonight because he's been working on some awesome stuff that we're going to show at TENNO Live. So
huge team effort.
Huge of course. What's been going on there, you guys, in the environment capacity is going to be awesome. So.
Yeah.
You didn't answer, Jeff.
Not to keep being lame, but it's the same thing. Like our game is so wacky in every way and every faction that every component of it has like a certain unique fun element to it. That's really fun.
When we added dancing, was that your favorite part?
Oh man.
Wasn't
I on record?
It was mine, if that counts.
Was it?
Was it?
No.
Not your favorite.
It was fun.
I remember I was officially on record like a very early dev stream saying there's no dancing in Warframe.
Yeah.
And,
but now
the people
nothing,
have spoken.
Yeah, nothing but dancing now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Ricky. My question is, are you guys ever going to increase ship decoration limit?
That is actually a physics-based question, and our physics programmer is right there. So you use my ship as a stress test for Noggle cloth physics capacity, as I understand it. And how bad is it on min spec? Yeah, so if you could just, please. You don't have to. So the answer is probably not, because then you can't run it on low PCs. He's crying right now because I asked him that, so. I will fight that fight until my last days, rest assured.
All for Noggles.
All for ship decorations, because there's so many now. We have posters, we have Noggles, we have quest items, like, guys.
We've got lots more in discussion as well in terms of new stuff that and yesterday we were talking about, we've been working on expanding the player ship a little bit. We've got something in the works that is going to be pretty cool and expand that space for players. And there's all kinds of customization stuff that we've been talking about doing there. It's going to involve these guys. It's going to involve the rest of the environment art team. Like there's It's going to be pretty cool. I think people will be happy to have that extra space for all of their noggles.
Thank you very much. That's a good answer.
You have a lot of noggles in your ship, by the way.
Yes. Yes. How do you know?
A crazy amount of noggles.
Oh, I guess yeah. Oh, well. Who else? Who has at least 100 decorations on their ship? 50? 20? None? There we go. Okay. Something. Some number. Thank you.
I also have another question. Is the sentient arm still a thing?
The sentient arm?
Yeah. We showed that. Remember the sentient
Oh yeah,
weapon?
I remember. Yeah.
It's definitely still a thing. Maybe it might be related to that sentient outpost discussion we had earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's definitely still on the radar.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
May I ask 2 questions?
You sure can.
One of them's more opinionated, but do you think that you guys could downscale Arcwing to the atmosphere and make the Lisette combat ready?
The Arcwing questions.
Well, that's a huge challenge in its own right
It
to
is, yeah.
design gameplay around Arcwing, but also classic Space Ninja. So.
Yeah. Plus the kind of tiling environments that we have. It's tough to commit to that, but we're definitely looking at ways to. We're definitely looking at all things Arcwing and kind of trying to find ways to put spins on it and expand it and improve it and then all those things. I don't know if that's a really good answer, but.
And your second question?
I remember when Warframe started out on PS4, the leveling was way different than what it is now. And I've noticed that as it's been continuing, the stats of weapons and also the rankings of enemies have been getting higher and higher.
Yes.
How intense do you plan on getting it in the future?
I feel like the sentients are definitely going to be the most intense, if I'm not mistaken. Like that is end game vision. So the factions, and this is more of a design question, so I don't know if you guys can speak to that, but you know what you want the different types of enemies to feel in terms of intimidation and spawning in our world where it's one Warframe against the world. But with the GRINEER, with those new enemies, are they going to be the next level for an endgame player, or are they going to be spaced throughout the world in a way?
I don't want to really exactly speak to where it falls into with endgame, but they are definitely like a kick up as far as like their intensity. So as far as to how far we're going to go with that stuff, that's probably more on Scott's plate, but it is definitely, what we're exploring with those enemy designs.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm Josh. I've got a question for you.
I'm ready.
The old arcane helmets.
Yes.
I love using them so much.
Are you talking
but
like the original ones that
the
are like
OG ones,
like
the original.
Trinities that you can't not wear for duration and all that?
Yeah. With all the new skins coming out, have you ever thought of making it so you can equip the arcane helmet over the skin?
So the tricky thing from a systemic, you guys make all this, like we have alt helmets coming, we have skins, we have deluxe skins, but back in the old days of Warframe where we didn't know we were going to do all that fashion frame focus, we put stats on cosmetics, and then we stopped doing that. But now if you're a hardcore player, you know that those stats can matter, and there's no easy way to get the look you want with the performance you want. So it's a really tricky problem, and we added things to distill, but it's not the same. And ultimately, if we're going to just do texture overlays, I don't know, like get the stats without the helmet look. We could.
We can do that, yes. I don't know.
The most recent thing we've done with that is the toggling of prime parts for TennoGen as sort of like make it look how you want. Anyway, it's a really tricky question because there's all these stats involved, but we'll see it from the design point of view.
It's definitely a possibility, I guess is what we can say. Yeah. Lucas seems up for it.
Yeah. He did the tinting of Vandals and Wraiths, so he'll do anything.
I've also got one more question.
Sure.
Could you ever see the possibility of putting arcanes on like sigils instead of having them equipped on Sciendanas or helmets?
There hasn't been a lot of honestly, there hasn't been a lot of talk about arcanes like in a very long time.
Stay
so
tuned.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
you, Josh. Right.
Hey guys, my name's Mark. I got 2 quick questions.
Sure.
So the first one is when you did the concept of the Tenno ship, because to me it kind of seems like it's an armed dojo, are you guys thinking of adding similar customization options to the interior of that ship?
You know, we haven't had a lot of conversations about that, but the focus on it being a clan or a squad up type of situation or location, I could see us definitely incorporating some of that into it in the future. It's not a solid plan, but there's no reason, I don't think, why we couldn't at least have that discussion. We're trying to expand the playership, like I was saying, and I could see some of that stuff being crossover.
I think like we've seen how much you guys embrace customization, and we realize how important it is to the community. So I think whenever there's potential to customize anything, we'll probably give you guys that.
Like the game has taken such a huge turn for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
And my
Right,
second question
yes.
is when you're going into designing, say, a weapon, a warframe, or ballast, for example, this is where the question kind of came from. When you sit down and decide to go, this is the theme we're going to go, like how much research do you do before? Because when I see the concept, I'm thinking Greco-Roman origami, and it's awesome, so.
Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely picking up on exactly what's in there. There's sort of these little. I went to sort of Japanese Heian influences, so you see his teeth are blacked as well, and almost like a stylistic thing. The Greek statuesque, look of him shows how much they sort of care about their physical form, and then how they achieve that could depend. So and then you even have the blue skin of sort of almost a Hindu deity, potentially. So you get all these things interacting, but then it not feeling like it's just culturally themed, with a comparative.
Thanks, guys.
If you have like more questions about those things, we Shan at 4 p.m. I think we're going to do a workshop about how to explain our process to do some concept art. So we will talk about like research and all of those things. If you have more questions.
Make sure you check your schedule for Lucas's workshop later today because it's gonna be pretty kick-ass too.
Yeah. And I would even say, just to build on that, like collaborating, even like Keith is a really amazing, to pump his tires a little bit, he's such a fun guy to collaborate with because you can tell he's really well researched and really well read, because even when he's giving you kind of like he always gives he's really good at world building. You can give him an idea and he kind of expands on it. And I think every time he sends me a design, there's always one word I Google that I have to look up. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. But yeah, so it's, and I think it just, when it comes to this kind of like conceptual design, that just the more researched you are, it's just a bigger thing to build from.
So it sounds like you're going to be the first in line to get Keith's autograph, but I should remind
Absolutely.
everyone that everyone will be available for autographs after this panel at the autograph booth for an hour. So we'll do one more question, and then we're going to move them over there. Maybe 2 more questions, depending on how quick they are. But whoever's, maybe 3, maybe 4, we'll see what we can do.
Mine's pretty
We'll
quick.
definitely do 3 at least, because I know one of us is a TennoGen creator there, so we got to get to you.
Okay,
Get back.
Hi, my name is Dave. I'm curious about the orbiter, because as soon as I found out that you have the ship customizations for the Lisette and all that, and then you fly in it, but you never see where the ship goes. You never see the actual orbiter. Will it ever be shown?
I think we've shown it once.
We've
actually.
shown it once on a dev stream, but it was
Yeah, I've seen the concept art, but I mean like rendered in game.
I thought, did we show the animation?
No.
Well, we built it, and this is probably about 2 years ago. We actually even have a docking animation.
Oh yeah.
Where you dock to it. We just haven't had the time to finish it. It's still one of those things we want to get to. We definitely plan to expand the orbiter. There's still that one door that hasn't opened yet. So yeah, it's still one of those nagging things for us that we just got to get to it. We have some work. I'm surprised we should show it next dev stream. I'll try and dig it up.
All right, I'll make a note.
The idea is that post mission, before we'll have the same way you have a loading animation cinematic going into a mission. You'd have a docking cinematic if you want to watch it or not, or skip it. That shows you connecting to your orbiter.
This is you committing to that.
All right, I'll try and look it up.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll hopefully do 2 more. Hello.
Hi, I'm Calix. Real name, not a handle, I swear.
Awesome.
I was rocking in my seat looking at that sentient artwork, seeing the directions that faction can go in. My question was, I guess this is more of a lore question, is do you think it's likely we'll see, so far all the sentients we've faced have been from Hunhao.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, might different sentients, go in a different, appearance direction, but there are still visibly, identifiable as sentients?
Absolutely. In fact, we probably could have brought them today, but that was as Keith was exploring some sentient design for the Outpost. I think even before that, you had done some soldier designs again based off of some the existing soldiers, and you kind of did some pretty awesome stuff with it. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of breadth now. We're sort of sorting through and seeing which lives and which fits into everything.
And we would hope to incorporate those when we get to building the Outpost as well.
Yeah, so this is basically us planning our next 6 months of dev streams
Yeah,
with all
exactly,
these questions,
yeah.
so now we know what to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then the last question before I send you guys over to maybe draw some pictures on, no, autographs. Maybe, I won't make you draw. I don't know, it's up to you. But.
Hi, I'm Sharky, and I have some questions. I think everybody here agrees Fashion Frame is endgame.
Yeah.
My
He
question
builds
is-
really great TennoGen stuff, by the way, everyone. So. Yeah.
Beautiful concepts, beautiful work.
My question is there any plans or future exploration on customization? Because I believe
For which, sorry?
Customization, because I believe like the Dendra armor goes to the ties.
Yes.
Like, are there any new things in progress or being thought of?
Oh.
Player customization, like different ways.
Yes, like right now the Dendra is set, like the position of the Dendra armor is set, and then you have your Syndana. Are we going to do any other customization spots, options?
It's very hard as every Warframe are very different silhouettes, so to find a space in there to add something, it's very hard. We are open to ideas, I think, too.
Yeah.
So if at one point we see like a fan having like an amazing ideas, we will go there, for sure. But for now, we don't have nothing planned for this.
I think the closest thing we did was let you do your holster position for your sword, and that's just turned into like
Yeah.
very lewd customization with your great swords. So, but I will wrap this up now. You guys have given us an awesome look into what you do in Warframe's art, and I am blown away because this is amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's get a round of applause for this amazing, amazing group. Thank you so much. You'll be doing autographs for the next hour, and of course, anything else you want to say.
Just because he's here, everyone give a round of applause to Michael Brennan, who's here watching this too, who wouldn't be here without him.
And I think that's it for you guys. If you have anything else you want to say, if you like favorite ice cream flavor, whatever works.
Thanks for coming.
No, thank you guys.
Enjoy your day.
guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming and all your
Thank you,
support,
thank
as
you,
always.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, guys.